I have been arrested more than 20 times.
Our offices were broken into 3 times in 2 years.
I have been under surveillance. I have received death threats.
There is a lot of fear, you know. It's just hard to speak about the political situation right now.
My biggest fear is to be shot.
I'm not aware of any society anywhere in the world that is more democratic than Uganda.
Nel 2014, quando eravamo già nel paese, eravamo già in Uganda da diversi anni, ci siamo resi conto che la situazione stava diventando veramente molto negativa, soprattutto per quanto riguarda il restringimento degli spazi democratici e di espressione. La cooperazione è legata anche alla difesa, alla tutela e alla promozione dei diritti umani. Abbiamo dei difensori in settori specifici che sono molto più sotto attacco rispetto ad altri, e sono i difensori dei gruppi LGBT, i giornalisti, e temo qualche volta per il mio staff locale sicuramente, e a volte ho paura, sì.
Uganda has a constitution, largely progressive. However, we still face a lot of threats to freedoms such as freedom of expression, association, and assembly. We provide legal support and representation to approximately 1,000 cases each year. Some of these people are politically persecuted.
Threats, fears, intimidation, all those are some of the things that we look at. And then you also look at the staff turnover, that could also be a risk. It's just a way of silencing them, and that's why maybe the government is targeting them.
This provision is mainly aimed at curtailing the registration of LGBTI organizations.
They can just take away your registration and you're not able to work anymore in Uganda.
Human rights defenders like me face serious risks. NGOs that promote rights, their offices are broken into, and there are no valid explanations to account for that.
Well, we train human rights defenders to use software which will protect their communications, protect their data, protect their personal or their organizational accounts. There are still, unfortunately, very high levels of human rights abuses. So human rights defenders investigate these abuses, they collect data and information, and therefore the information you're collecting is also putting you at risk.
Siamo a Gulu, in Nord Uganda, nella zona che per 25 anni è stato teatro di una guerra civile che ha insanguinato il paese. Abbiamo un livello più alto di violenza, perché appunto questo è un contesto post-guerra. I nostri difensori del Nord Uganda riferiscono di casi di tortura, vera e propria tortura nelle prigioni, di arresti ingiustificati.
Nationally, there is no respect for the rule of law, and that has affected also what is happening regionally. This is a post-conflict environment. These are war-affected community we are working with. And then also the judiciary or the justice system is very weak, and the respect for human rights is very limited.
The police are really violating the rights of people in this part of the country, especially during time of arrest and detention. In the course of arresting that suspect, and because of the police brutality, he was reportedly dead.
The police said they were been fighting and the man is dead. We check on the dead body, we found some bruises on the head and then some bruises in the stomach and then at the back.
In the police cells where the suspects stay or live, there are no buckets. They just urinate on the floor, and they also defecate long holes where in the room where they live on the floor. It was very horrible.
These two police officers who caused the death are being released and they are transferred. Where they are transferred, we don't know.
We lost our dear son, was murdered from prisons. The boy was innocently arrested from when he was coming from work. And when I asked them now, what killed the boy? They said he died of hepatitis. I said, hepatitis, that's it torture? Because we found there was some tying, there was marks of the tying on the legs, on the shoulder.
The number of laws to close down the spaces for free and critical media are so many, including the Public Order Management Act, which has a section which criminalizes the work of a journalist who is found covering. Once a journalist is found in such a place, they accuse them of promoting an illegal activity. Also, another very restricted area where you cannot report about is the LGBTI issues. You report about it as a journalist, you equally will be liable for abetting and promoting the practice.
These journalists take a lot of oxygen, you know. They can asphyxiate us because they talk so much. I think their lungs use more oxygen than we ordinary people.
The authorities are going to use a strong hand if you talked about specific interests or issues that would definitely affect their position in power. And that's why no wonder we have been targeted, we have been arrested, radio programs have been switched off. Have been arrested more than 20 times. They range from defamation, inciting violence. At some point it was also promoting harmful propaganda.
Our offices were broken into 3 times in 2 years. They took the desktops, they took the money safe, they took documents, and we reported to police. But when we went to report to police, we discovered that our money safe that had been stolen from our office was at the police. This year, they also came back and sedated our guard. We also reported this incident to police, and they have the footage. The faces of the people are very clear, but the police is not even interested in investigating.
A day after demonstration by the unemployed youth that led to brutal assault of WBS cameraman Andrew Lwanga.
Amid all the medical costs of the affected journalists,
cameraman Andrew Lwanga was getting treatment at Nsambia Hospital.
If you know how I used to work, I'll just go like this.
A journalist working with an independent television was brutally assaulted by a senior police officer. He was hit 3 times on his head. His camera was smashed.
I was invited to cover a procession by the unemployed youth. We started recording what were the arrest, the beating, and one of the police officers hit me first. I put my camera to protect myself because he was beating me on the head.
He was rushed to a national referral hospital where he lay unconscious for a while. The next day he was discharged because the hospital was under orders to discharge this journalist even when he was not feeling well.
I told my mother I can't feel my legs. So my mom kept on crying. So it affected my spinal cord.
And since that time, he's battling with his life. He cannot walk on his own. He cannot sit on his own. Since that time, he has not had an opportunity to work. His media house is not paying his salary.
Journalists, oye! Oye! Journalists, oye!
Myself and other colleagues took to a peaceful demonstration on the 13th of January and were arrested.
I've been threatened like 6 times, and each time I tried to go to police to report, the law is telling me we're investigating. On the first was I first received anonymous calls. Don't go to court.
These people keep calling me, calling my colleagues, threatening the journalist to abandon the case that is in court. But nothing is done to investigate these cases.
I know anything can happen at any time. My biggest fear is to be shot, because one bullet can, once someone pushes it in your head, you're gone. That's the only challenge I have. And I don't trust security here, because it's not once, it's not twice. I've been attacked several times.
Should we go?
Yeah.
Should we go?
Okay.
Okay.